Good morning, it's Norma. It's 9 o'clock on Wednesday morning. I believe it's the 28th of August today. Now, today I'm going to take a look at the reading for September because September comes later in the beginning of next week. And so that makes it difficult. I think it's over the weekend, actually, because we're at the 28th now. Who knows? Days go by with no problem at all. But anyway, I have a reading laid out here, which I'll come to in a moment. I don't know where you are, but here our weather's changing. Our lovely warm summer that I was so enjoying is disappearing fast, and cooler weather. They've even had snow up on some of the high passes, and very unusual for August because traditionally it is summer. And I woke up with a cough this morning again. So excuse me if you find myself coughing through this. But anyway, today we're going to be taking a look at September's reading. Compared to August, when I did August reading, I remember looking at it and thinking, oh my goodness, what's going on? And the good news is we're through August and now we're heading into September. So for those of you that know and understand tarot cards, you'll understand more than what I say here. This is the beginning. And I would say this is like from the 1st of September to around the 3rd. This is the Emperor. Experienced, not a fun-looking guy at all, but this is all about experience and kind of gloom and doom in a way. Very, you know how we get sort of cynical and this is the way it is. So I just think basically we're not going to see too much change in the first few days of September. Plus, it's a holiday weekend, so all sorts of other things happen. Now, the next symbol, though, this is where things begin to get quite exciting. This is the sun, one of my favorites. Shows new beginnings, coming out of the old into the new, the beautiful white horse, a child, we're holding a red, big flag kind of thing. And the sun right behind. Newness, change, leaving the old behind and moving ahead. So I would look from the, just a second, unfortunately, another cough's coming. I would say that I would look from, say, the 3rd to around definitely the 4th and 5th, and maybe even into the 6th, that there is a new way or a new way than before. New news, new opportunity. They're feeling very good about what's going on. Everybody's feeling great. Everybody's just really up. This is going to be superb. Now, what happens a lot when these things begin to change? Oh, I put it on the wrong side. When these things begin to change is we get all caught up. And that's the Page of Pentacles here. It's an attitude of getting small-minded in a way because we're looking at a very small amount of information or time or whatever's going on. So he's just looking at now. This also has, here's a pentacle, so it's often about money, business, and things like this. So where we are, and I found this very interesting as to how we come kind of from, this is the way it is, from the Emperor to the Sun saying, oh, newness, and then we come to here, where we're all caught up with information, again, money playing a part, which has been playing a part now for months, and really kind of is trying to assess everything. How does it work? Where is it heading? Where is it going? So that takes us a little further into September, and I think that what we're looking at here is coming up towards the 10th, maybe not totally, because then we have change again. This is the 10 of Swords, the end of a situation. There's a lot of symbology in here. Can't even say the word today. Symbology in here, which talks about endings. Actually, in the picture, the person is dead, but he has an interesting hand, which my finger's covering, which shows up often in the symbolism of the tarot, meaning has a spiritual overtone. But look at the water is emotion, new beginning, everything else is dark. So there's a new horizon here. So something is dead. Something comes to an end. Something is... Now, Is this, we don't know where this is because this is just a broad overlook. Is this political? Is this a person? Is it the situation? Is it to do with money, which probably has, because it's coming up again a little bit later. So everything shows here in the 10 endings, and this also shows endings, leaving behind the old, stepping out. The I'm trying to remember, it isn't 8, isn't it? Yes. Don't even know my own symbols anymore. 8 of Cups, leaving behind what's knowing, stepping into the unknown. And this is what we're seeing all through this. Whatever was, and it was a little bit of this last month, and but kind of the endings of things. This is that feels much more conclusive of endings. We're more into the new beginnings, not so much the ending of things, new awarenesses, new ideas, new concepts. And with, in a sense, we've had out of 5 symbols, we have 3, counting this one, showing ends and new beginnings. So this begins to create a whole lot of new awarenesses there. So now we're getting into the sort of late, into the teens and definitely into the 20s. It seems to be jumping quite a bit. But what we've got here is the Page of Wands, and the Page of Wands is the thinker. He's looking at the new idea and he thinks it. So what is begun in that 8 of Cups, the change that is now begun. Before it was there, now it's begun. And I really see, like, the late teens and into the 20s, that this is the order, is like thinking about, okay, what do we do now? Like, this has happened, this change is taking place, now what? So it's mostly like a big gap. Except right in the middle of the reading, we have the Ace of Pentacles. New beginnings, especially around money, finance, awareness. But it also talks about, if you look at, you can't see very well, but down at the bottom, I might see if I can make this closer. There are lilies and roses. And this is from the beginning of the symbology with the magician, talking about flowers of aspiration, the roses and the lilies, to aspire. So we're aspiring to something new here that is manifesting. And there's no doubt about it in a pentacle that it's manifested. It's not like an idea, like the Page of Wands, we have all these ideas. We're going to think about, oh, did I miss him? I think I might have missed him. Page of Wands. Sorry, I got so busy with the Ace of Pentacles. The Page of Wands is that they're doing a lot of thinking. So everything's in the thinking mode, not so much in the manifesting mode. But by the time you're getting to the middle 20s of September, whatever the new plan is, whatever the newness is, you're going to hear about it. It's going to come out. It's going to be very there. Here it is. This is what it is. It could be a new money plan. It could be just a new plan of, I was going to say a new plan of attack. Where did that come from? But it's like a new plan. So we've all been consolidating. Now, we've been working up to this for months, whatever this is. When you think back, all the things I've been saying in the last few months. But why can't everything just be all easy? 7 of Cups shows that everything is up in the air. It's not consolidated. And so, although the Ace of Pentacles says, here, this is the plan, we're here, we're ready, this is, oh, I'm not so sure. I'm not so sure about this. What about this? And what about that? And you know how we get in our mind sometimes? You know, oh, we start seeing scenarios. Maybe it's this way, or maybe it's that way, or maybe we shouldn't do anything at all. So there's all sorts of things like that. So to me, this was building and building and building until we come to this little 7 of Cups. It says, well, which way are we going to go? What are we going to do here? And then finally, as we're coming to the end of September, we have the Justice card, which is one of the higher arcana. We've got 1, 2, which makes the 3rd higher arcana card in, which is the bigger impact. This is the law of justice. This is like temporal law. Temporal law means the law that we work by. And so, again, I feel this is a decision card. It's a number 11, which is a higher power of the number 2. This is about, do we implement this? I would say at this point, the legalities of whatever has been going on in this main part of September, which has probably been building for some time because we've seen it, but it's been undercover. We didn't know what it was. This is where they're going to decide. And it'll be interesting to see what October brings, because whatever this decision is made by the lawmakers, this is about law. This is about what the world is going to say, what we're going to deal with, what we're going to have to work with. And so there's a lot of pluses. There's change coming. Whatever it is, I would say there's change coming. But we've seen that. We knew that. And as the money change, there's other changes that are happening. And I've just been going from the readings from the last several months, where some of them I really didn't like very much personally. But it's like, but nothing was really solid. But I think in September, you're going to hear the solidity. You're going to hear what the actual plan is. But then when you hear the plan, then people start talking about it. I think the lawmakers. So it'll be interesting to see where we are in October and how that looks. Because you've got in here, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 symbols out of 9 that talk about newness, change, leaving the old behind, moving in. And whenever there's a change, it doesn't happen, even though it may seem to happen like that. It doesn't. It's often time, and there's the letting go part, there's the new part. And here there's a lot about newness, but letting go of the old. But we let go of the old, but then the new has to consolidate. And I think that's what justice is about, because I think they're finally putting it into whatever the legalities are. This is going to be interesting. Now, for those tarot people that are getting interesting in the tarot, you've got 3 higher arcana cards in this reading. The Emperor, experience, solid. This is the way it is, stubborn. You've got the last symbol that came up was justice. This is another one that's very serious. And as I said, legalities, looking for justice, it's about balance. In some elements of readings, it's also about commitment to whatever the new plan is, making the commitment. So that also shows we're now making. But this is the one I love this symbol because it's so bright, the sun, newness. Now all this other stuff here is behind you. And especially when we're talking about spiritual growth, when we come to the sun, we accept that whole new avenue of energy and brilliance and knowingness and how everything is. It's delightful, because let's face it, life is not just, here we are as little babies, and we grow up and we have our experiences, and then we get old and eventually depart the world. It's like there is a transition that happens, and hopefully the internal growth that you have in relation to everything else. So that the higher arcana cards, of which there are 22, and we just see through here, well, there's only 9 symbols in this particular kind of reading. And so what I still say, if I just look at those alone, I say, okay, there is some changes coming. By the end of the month, we will know what they are. But then, because the justice sits there, then, as I said, the lawmakers will decide yes or no, or what we're going to do and where we're going to go. The lower arcana breaks into 4 suits. The first suit I always look at is the wands, like this guy here. He's an attitude, which means what you do the most often, attitudes are. And he's the smallest attitude. He is the page of wands, and he's contemplating his ideas. You know how when we get an idea and we think about it, we think about it, we think about it. That's what a wand does. The page of wands does. He's a contemplator. He's thinking about his idea. What do I do? No real action there, just a lot of thought. And then we have cups, which is the value, whether you're happy or sad. And we have 2 of those. Interesting enough, they're equal, same, like one is 7. I'll put this over here because it's easier. No, this is 7 and this is 8. They go together. The story, because if you're telling a story, I can tell lots of stories from these 78 symbols. I can tell lots of stories. But anyway, what we see here is the contemplating of the what ifs and the seven, our imagination. And then this is the leaving behind as we move out into strength and a wonderful essence of being. So it's really about, again, change. And then we have swords. Swords are problems. Now look at this one here. This is whatever it is dead and doggone. There's no, and it's a new horizon. If you look at the symbol again, there's a lot of little symbols in here: the hand, the sea, and then the new dawn. So when life does not ever just stop. Now, even when, like if we were departing, this is like a death symbol in a way, the death of the old. But even as a soul, we may leave our body, but we're not dead. We get carry on if we have that belief, which I definitely do, because I know that's a fact. So it's like it's like the ending, but there's no ending. Like I was taught by several teachers, there are no endings. It's just transitions, changes, movement. And so here that we see in here too, this ending of the old. But then we get to the Pentacles, which is, I'm banging on my table because this is practical. This is the material. The rest is all subjective. Now we get into what's real. A new beginning followed by, within here, another attitude of thinking. Sometimes the little page attitudes, the new ones, they do a lot of kind of, and without really manifesting it, some manifests happens more in the knights and the queens and the kings in particular. They're more, here we are, and we don't have any kings here yet. But what I like to see here is this one. This is the beginning of newness. All the conjecture, all the other things have gone. So now we are moving into that which is new, that which is bright, and that which is going to be bringing more awareness. I have had quite a lot of fun in my own way looking at this year I think I've been doing monthly readings for quite a while now, but watching how we progress. And then looking back over the month and saying, well, how did that work? How did that, turn out? What happened? Now, when I do these readings, I am reading for North America because I'm in Canada. I look at Canada and the US. So there is a kind of a mixture a little bit. It's not like I'm looking just at the US or just at Canada, but kind of like North America, because we kind of all fall under that umbrella. And I just want to see. And when we look back, money has been a big part of it. What's been going on with the money? And then if you listen to, I don't really hang out in the newsrooms anymore, but it's like you would hear the talk of how the money thing is changing. And I think September they're going to come down with whatever it is that they're contemplating about. So although this is not a political show, I don't go into the politics of it. It's about looking at how things change, because your life goes through similar things. Or each one of us, what do we have? We have a mind that thinks. We have emotions that feel. And we have action or no action. In other words, what do we do with how we think and feel? How does that act out? What happens when something happens? How do we respond? We're a little microcosm of the bigger play. So, and as far as I'm concerned, if you listen to me at all, you hear I talk about how we think, first of all. But then how do we feel? Where do we put the emotion behind the thought? Because that's what makes the thought alive. Is where you put your emotions. Personal growth, which I've spent a lot of years at, to try and figure out who I was, because, like a lot of people, You have situations come up in your childhood that you have to deal with and figure out. Then you get married, then you have kids, and then you've got economics and blah, blah, blah. Then I ran businesses. So there were a lot of things I had to figure out. And all the way along, though, I was always interested in, I could say, I'm not going to use the word God here. I was interested in what was God, because I had some religious background when I was really young, and I never answered my questions in my mind. So it's like, even today, when I look at readings for people or for myself, it's like, where is your personal growth in this? How do you take this? Do you get upset by things? Do you feel driven? Do you feel upset? Do you get stuck? All of those things that become important. And it all comes down to how you think, how you feel, and how you respond. How you respond probably even more than anything else, because that sets up the next transition. We're not static. We're not ever at one. Things I know, I've had a tough time in some ways myself this last year. And sometimes it's like, oh gosh, what's going on? And then all of a sudden I have another breakthrough where I feel alive and I'm happy to be here and I'm enjoying things and getting back into life as I would like it to be for myself and for others. And I've always loved imparting the metaphysical knowledge. I've always loved that, because how your philosophy is what's important. What you believe will be. And the thing is, a lot of people are very cynical, I found, because I read for a lot of people over the years. And it's like, how do you teach, or how do you come aware that there is a power, whatever name you call it? I don't care what you call it, but the recognition that there is a loving power that loves you, that wants to do the best for you, that wants you to move in the direction that will enhance you. Because no matter what, as a human being, we know our lives come to an end. And where do we want to be when that happens? Do we want to be cynical? Do we want to be angry? Do we want to be resentful? All of those emotions, which is certainly a part of us, and all of us feel at some point. Or do we want to be at peace? Do we want to understand that lovingness, that acceptance of not only who we are, but acceptance of others on the path, to understand that peacefulness, that awareness, that strength, so you're able to handle things that come along. Even though we may have reactions, we can come to terms really quickly as to how we want to be with that. There are some things we cannot change. There are many things we can, only by how we respond to them and how we look at and how we do. So that is what we're looking at, I think, for September, is some very definite things coming down the turnpike, not just hints of them. I think their lawmakers are going to be working, and that may go into October as well, and probably does. So in the meantime, I want to thank you, and I want to thank you for the comments. I want to thank you for the thumbs up. I want to thank you for the subscribers. And yeah, I'm here Monday night, Wednesday morning, Sunday morning. I appreciate the people who follow me and comment and send things. And I just want to mention right now those that have come on. Caleb, thank you so much for your lovely message as always, and appreciate them. And Karen, also, blessings to you as well. We can all do with those. I know I'm missing my sunshine already. It's not even the end of August. So we move forward. Blessings to each one of you. I shall see you now. Where are we? On Sunday, for Sunday Thought. Blessings. Bye now.